Okay, hi, I'm going to talk about two completely separate things, and hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to see why I think they're related. Let's begin. So first, I want to take us back to 2019 when everyone's least favorite hoodied villain, Mark Zuckerberg, emerged with an announcement. Personally, I was expecting an apology for all the times his own company has enabled violence and genocide, but instead this rat fuck wants to tell us all about the new era of Facebook. An era so new that Facebook's name needs a change. It's now Meta. Now, does anyone think this might be a bad attempt at some 4D chess, so whenever you search Facebook, genocide, Google is just like, I don't know, man, that company name doesn't exist anymore. That can't be the only reason, but it might have factored in. No, Meta is now Meta because Facebook is entering the metaverse. What is that, you ask? Why, it's the Torment Nexus from the famous novel Please Don't Invent the Torment Nexus. More specifically, it's from Snow Crash, which Zuckerberg seems to have read as a how-to guide instead of a post-apocalyptic future. Meta's foray into the metaverse was to introduce Horizon Worlds, a virtual reality concept so half-baked your avatar didn't even have legs at first. And this would seem cute from like a scrappy DIY tech startup run out of an on-fire WeWork, but this is supposedly a company worth billions. And then you find out how much money they spent on this. The company has reportedly spent some $36 billion developing it. In Zuckerberg's vision, the metaverse will be nothing less than the internet's next iteration, one for which he will control both the hardware, Facebook bought headset maker Oculus in 2014, and the software. Meta has been snapping up companies even tangentially related to VR. Now that's already profoundly stupid, but let's continue reading that article. This is Who is Still Inside the Metaverse by Paul Murray, by the way. It's Murray's own fun follow-up on this disaster of a launch 4 years later. It's great fun, I'll link it below. Once we're plugged in, Meta will have unparalleled access to users' lives, even the parts the company is not now surveilling. Giving a presentation, meeting your buddies, sitting around watching TV, all of it will be coming through your headset. It's a hyper-monopoly, a meta-monopoly. Zuckerberg doesn't just want to lock on the online experience, he's planning to move all of experience online. So far, the gamble hasn't paid off. Only 20 million Quest headsets have been sold, nowhere close to his goal of 1 billion users. On March 14th, Zuckerberg announced that Meta was laying off around 10,000 workers, joining the 11,000 laid off 4 months earlier. So that was in 2023, 4 years after this stupid thing launched. Truly incredible. I started writing this back in February, and as I was looking through the journalistic rubble available, I came across this fascinating piece by Cody Mello-Klein where he interviews Celia Pierce, a professor of game design at Northeastern University, who absolutely nails why this thing is so stupid. One of the things that has really struck me about the metaverse is that it looks like the virtual worlds of the mid-90s, Pierce says. If you can imagine it's the Renaissance and people are doing cave paintings, that's what's going on here. I find it really astonishing that these people who literally have all the money in the world cannot figure out how to evolve virtual worlds past 1995. Metaverse's failings come down partly to what Pierce sees as Meta's lack of awareness to what's actually going on now and to what happened before in non-game virtual spaces. Experiences like Second Life or even Minecraft, online spaces that have managed to attract and maintain audiences over time, succeed by fostering creativity. There's a reason that, through her research, Pierce found that non-game virtual worlds tended to attract more women and older players, two demographics that are typically underserved in gaming at large. So far, Zuckerberg has pitched Metaverse as a virtual reality-fueled way of holding work meetings or hanging out with friends, but Pierce says this is more new-fashioned Zoom than revolutionary technology. And I feel like that is an academic version of a burn. And I love it. So like I said, I started writing this in February, And at the time, those were the most recent articles I could find that comment on the Meta/Horizon Worlds disaster. There was really nothing beyond 2023, aside from some crypto bro speculation. Horizon Worlds was still out there, it still existed, but no one gave a damn. They couldn't even be bothered to write about it, which is crazy. It's not like there's anything else going on. And then March happened, and a headline from 404 Media proved that I was right to procrastinate on this. RIP Metaverse, an $80 billion dumpster fire no one wanted. Thanks, Jason Kobler, for that headline. It's art. And I'll link the article below. It's hilarious. Side note, if you need different media outlets now that the big ones are going full anti-trans mask off, 404 Media is a great place to start. There's also Defector, longreads.com. Damn, that's all that comes to mind. I studied journalism in undergrad, so this bums me out. So is it safe to call Horizon Worlds an absolute dumpster fire that never should have made its way beyond one pathetic pitch slide deck? Who cares? That's what I'm gonna call it. You probably haven't even thought about it in years, and yet here I am, reminding you. I'm sorry. But suffice it to say, this money-sucking monstrosity never should have existed. It's profoundly stupid, as anyone with the barest minimum of common sense could tell you. So why is it here? And how did it make it this far? Because, friends, it was the passion project of a billionaire. And all they're used to hearing is yes. Have you ever tried to say no to someone at work with more power than you? Of course not. That's dangerous. The economy is in shambles, the job market sucks, everything is more expensive. You're not gonna risk your livelihood just because you know that you're right. Mark Zuckerberg walked the earth for years with this fucking haircut. And no one told him anything because he's the powerful one and you're not. Now, examples like these are a dime a dozen. Apple CEO Tim Cook cluelessly assuming the Vision Pro would take off, Tesla CEO Elon Musk debuting a not truck, or the one we've talked about before, Walgreens putting screens on its fridge doors. It's all profoundly stupid, and yet here it is. Losing money, costing people their jobs, providing hilarious write-ups from the nation's best journalists. And for a while, this phenomenon seemed beyond our comprehension. After all, none of us are becoming billionaires anytime soon, nor would we want to. These baffling decisions lay outside our plane of understanding, never to be reached. And then Chat-GPT happened.
It's been dubbed AI psychosis, used to describe those who rely so heavily on chatbots that they become convinced something imaginary is real.
Yes, sir, it seems that those who rely all too heavily on the agreeable wrong answer plagiarism machine find themselves in what many are calling an AI-induced psychosis. But I would posit that instead, we should call it what it is. Billionaire brain rot. Until LLMs became available to the masses, having a chorus of agreements no matter how insane your ideas are were something that was limited strictly to those with the most money and the most power. And now, it's available to anyone at any time. Of course, there's a psychosis because acquiring the power and money that leads one to become a billionaire poisons your mind. No one on earth should hear a yes to every idea they spout. You need pushback. You need critiques. You need to know when you're out of your league and out of your mind. But you don't. Ever. So I guess props to the creators of Chat-GPT and all those other LLMs. They didn't invent AI, but they did invent a remarkably easy way to become as sick and diseased as a billionaire.